So, picture this. It's Saturday. You've got your weekend swagger on. You roll into Rebel, thinking maybe it's time to finally get back to the gym. You grab a new top, possibly a kettlebell you'll use once, then swing by BCF just to have a look. And somehow, you leave with a portable barbecue and a fishing rod. On the way home, you stop at Supercheap Auto because your car smells kinda weird. 4 hours later, your boot is full, your wallet's lighter, and your weekend completely dominated by one company, Super Retail Group. If you live in Australia and you've ever spent money on sport, camping, or car stuff, you've definitely shopped with them. You just didn't know it. These guys are the secret landlords of your weekend. The quiet empire behind some of the most recognizable retail brands in the country: Rebel, BCF, Supercheap Auto, and Macpac. One company, 4 stores, 0 chill, and they've built a multi-billion-dollar empire doing it. Let's rewind the clock. Back in 1972 in Brisbane, a couple named Reg and Hazel Rowe were running a small mail order business from their home, selling car parts and accessories. It was humble, it was low budget, it was the classic "we started in a garage" story, except they were selling things for your garage. Fast forward a few decades, and that little mail order gig had transformed into Supercheap Auto, the undisputed king of weekend projects, car repairs, and whatever mysterious tools your dad keeps in the shed, just in case. By 2004, they were big enough to go public, officially becoming Super Retail Group and listing on the ASX. With fresh capital in the tank, they started expanding, but instead of creating a bunch of new brands from scratch, they took a different route. They went shopping. In 2011, they pulled a power move, buying both Rebel Sport and Amart Sports. Basically, they speed ran their way into the fitness and sportswear game. A few years later, they folded Amart into Rebel and gave Rebel a whole new vibe. Out with the warehouse aesthetic, in with the slick black storefronts, curated brands, and that sweet "I lift, therefore I am" energy. Suddenly, Rebel wasn't just a shop, it was a lifestyle. Whether you were training for a marathon or just dressing like you might, Rebel had you covered. But wait, there's more. In 2018, Super Retail Group crossed the ditch and scooped up Macpac, the cult New Zealand outdoor gear brand. You know the one: clean aesthetic, built to last puffer jackets, and a fan base that treats hiking like religion. And by then, they'd already built up BCF. That's boating, camping, fishing for the uninitiated. The store that makes you believe, every summer, that this is the year you become an outdoors person. You know you've fallen for it when you walk in for a petrol canister and leave with a kayak, a collapsible table, and a camp shower. Now here's where it gets clever. Each of these brands owns its lane. Supercheap Auto is the pit stop for every home mechanic and weekend rev head. Rebel handles all things sporty, sweaty, and stretchy. BCF is pure outdoor fun, Aussie style. And Macpac is for the hikers, the gearheads, and the eco-conscious campers who drink coffee from titanium mugs while wearing ethically sourced merino. They don't compete, they don't overlap. They form a perfectly choreographed retail squad that surrounds your free time like a warm fleece jacket. And the best part? You don't feel like you're shopping from one giant company. That's on purpose. Super Retail Group doesn't slap their name on storefronts or scream, "Look at us!" They let the brand shine. You walk into Rebel, you get the Rebel experience. You go to BCF, you get a fishing rod and 15 bad ideas about long weekends. They stay behind the curtain, pulling the strings and raking in billions. Speaking of billions, yeah, they're doing pretty well. In 2024, Super Retail Group pulled in over $3.8 billion in revenue. They operate more than 700 stores across Australia and New Zealand and employ over 15,000 people. Not bad for a business that started with mail order spark plugs. But numbers only tell half the story. The real secret sauce is that they know how Aussies live. They know weekends are sacred, that sport is identity, that fixing your own car is a national personality trait, that we camp to escape the city and then bring half the city with us. Super Retail Group didn't create these lifestyles, but they built the shops that fuel them. And they're not stuck in the past. They've nailed the modern retail game too. While other legacy brands were scrambling to figure out what click and collect even meant, Super Retail Group was already rolling it out across all its stores. Their online systems are clean, their apps actually work, and their loyalty programs are weirdly satisfying. You know the ones: Club BCF, Rebel Active, Club Plus at Supercheap. You sign up thinking, why not? And suddenly you're getting surprise $10 credits and exclusive deals like you're part of some VIP club for people who impulse buy roof racks. Each brand speaks its own language. Rebel goes premium sport with clean visuals and big name collaborations. Macpac stays calm, quiet, and rugged. Supercheap is down to earth, practical, and proudly Aussie. But BCF? BCF is on another level. Those BCFing fun ads are cultural icons, a masterpiece of Aussie humor. If they ever bring them back full time, someone needs to win a Logie. Now, let's talk about COVID. Because while that wrecked a lot of retailers, Super Retail Group kind of won the apocalypse. With gyms closed, people swarmed Rebel for home fitness gear. With international travel off the table, everyone remembered they lived in a country with beaches, deserts, forests, and rivers. BCF and Macpac became the go-to destinations for every last-minute camping trip and lockdown-induced nature escape. And with all that extra time at home, people finally got around to fixing their cars and Supercheap Auto cleaned up. While other brands were begging customers to come back, Super Retail Group had to figure out how to keep up with demand. That's what happens when your entire business is based on what people do in their free time, and suddenly everyone's got nothing but free time. But even in the post-COVID world, they're not slowing down. They're investing in AI-powered stock tracking, smarter supply chains, and faster delivery systems. They're expanding Macpac internationally, and they're making every brand more sustainable, especially Macpac, which now leads the charge with recycled materials, repair initiatives, and environmental programs that actually feel legit. They're also keeping their in-store experience sharp. Retail might be digital now, but Super Retail Group knows Aussies still love to wander. They build stores that feel like playgrounds. Go to a big BCF on a Saturday and it's like a theme park for grown-ups with eskies. And the reason all of this works is because they try to be useful. They watch how people actually spend their time and then quietly become a part of it. A well-run, good vibe retail with a surprisingly loyal fan base. So next weekend, when you find yourself back in Rebel trying on tights or standing in Supercheap Auto comparing engine oil like you know what any of it means, remember, you're not hopping between brands. You're touring the empire. One company, 4 brands, and total control of your Saturday. And if someone's gonna own your weekend, it might as well be the crew giving you loyalty points, BCFing good ads, and an excuse to buy that third tent you definitely don't need, but swear you'll use this time. But what do you think? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below and let's discuss. And if you enjoyed this story, give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and don't forget to ring that bell so you never miss out on more deep dives like this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, stay curious.